Base Alex.
I'm Crystal Combustion.
And I'm Titanium Tiffany.
And welcome to Rad Reactants on ABC News at 8.
Today we'll be talking about different sorts of reactants and how they all work together.
So let's begin.
So in order for a chemical change to occur, it has to go through heat exchange, production of a gas, such as odor or bubbles, formation of a precipitate, or a change in color, which doesn't always happen. A chemical equation is a way to write a chemical reaction on paper. The substances that react are called reactants, and the substances are products.
So basically a chemical equation is like a math equation, right?
No, it's written like so. The reactants are the substances that are present before the chemical change takes place. They are the things that are present at the starting point. The chemical symbols for the reactants are written on the left-hand side of the chemical reaction equation. So let's try a practice problem. And these are the symbols and their meaning. The plus sign represents that a reaction and their products. The arrow to the right represents yields or produces. The arrow with the triangle on top of it represents that heat is added. And the arrow to the right and the arrow to the left represents that reaction is reversible.
I'm Crystal Combustion and I am at Tompkins High School with Maria Fernanda. So what would your definition of a precipitate be?
I think that a precipitate is an insoluble product of a chemical reaction which is usually a solid and doesn't dissolve in water.
That's a great answer. Thank you.
Hey guys, so let's learn about the law of conservation of mass. The law of conservation of mass states that matter cannot be created or destroyed. Mass of reactants equals mass of products. Don't forget, equations must be balanced. So there must be an equal number of atoms of each element on both sides of the chemical equation. For example, that would be balanced.
So to clarify this, you must balance the equation or you'll get the problem wrong. Let's move on to skeletal equations. Write the appropriate reactants on the left side and the products on the right. They should be separated by an arrow, like so. You can tell this is a skeletal equation because the number of atoms on sodium and chlorine are not equal on both sides. Add the notation to indicate the state of chemicals. They'll be solid, S, liquid, L, gas, G, or aqueous solution, AQ. Two aqueous solutions on the left side combine to form an aqueous solution in a solid on the right. A formula in chemistry is a type of shorthand for representing the elements in a compound, kind of like LOL or OMG, such as H for hydrogen or a compound as H2O for water. Chemical formula shows the symbol of elements in the compound. If a substance contains more than one atom of a particular element, the quantity is indicated in the chemical formulas using the subscript number. Again, using H2O, the 2 represents 2 hydrogen atoms. Oxygen doesn't have a subscript, therefore representing 1 atom.
I'm here at Tompkins High School in Savannah. Can you balance these equations for me? Sure. I got you. 2, 1, 1, 2. That is correct!
You also know how to name compounds, so I will teach you. To name ionic compounds, you must know what it is. An ionic compound consists of a metal and a nonmetal. The first part of the name is the name of the metal element. The second is the name of the nonmetal. For example, Al2O3, Al2 equals aluminum O3 oxygen. So the name would be aluminum oxide. Transition metals, metals in the D and F column, their charge is written with a Roman numeral. For example, FeCl2 and FeCl3 would be iron 2 chloride and iron 3 chloride. A polyatomic compound needs hydrogen at the beginning of the word. For example, CO3 becomes hydrogen carbonate, A to I and I to us. State of matter is a solid, liquid, or gas. A coefficient is the number at the beginning of a chemical equation. A catalyst is a chemical substance that affects the rate of a chemical reaction. Reactants are the starting material in a chemical equation. And lastly, a subscript is the number that is written below the element that lets you know how many molecules of that.
I'm Tiffany, this is Kevin.
Hi, Mom.
So, would you like to answer a few questions about naming compounds?
Maybe.
What would Na2SO4 be?
Sodium sulfate.
And what would NH4 2CO3 be?
I think that's ammonium carbonate.
That's right, good job!
And now done.
that's it for today on Rad Reactants on ABC News at 8.
Bye.